Good evening, Belize, and welcome to XTV's news broadcast for Monday, October 28, 2024. Making the headlines tonight, Erwin Contreras summoned before Senate inquiry. Second notice of GOB's compulsory acquisition of State Bank extension gazetted, and Tracy Panton attempts to effect takeover of UDP headquarters. We take our first break and return with the news in detail.
Remember, not all light bulbs are created equal. Our lighting department offers a wide assortment of light fixtures and accessories to suit your style. So stop in today and get the right illumination for your homecation. And don't forget your B-Box when you make a purchase. Benny's, quality and savings.
The Social Security Board, in collaboration with the Labor Department, takes this opportunity to remind insured persons of the requirements for compensation when on sick leave. Any employee who has worked with an employer for at least 2 months is entitled to 16 working days of sick leave with full pay every year. This is how it works. Upon approval of a sickness or injury benefit claim by SSB, 80% of the employee's weekly insurable earnings is paid as a Social Security benefit, and the difference in the employee's salary is paid by the employer. This is to ensure that the employee does not suffer any loss of wages when ill. After 16 days, compensation for sick leave is paid as a Social Security benefit only. Some conditions apply. This message is brought to you by the Social Security Board and the Labor Department. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
In the heart of a thriving country, Atlantic Bank stands as more than just a financial institution. We are family and your steadfast partner in success throughout every step of your journey. Our unwavering focus remains on continually enhancing your experience through innovation. From the traditional banking services to cutting-edge online and mobile banking services, we make your life easy, convenient, and secure. We deeply value the relationships and trust placed in us over the years. This trust has enabled us to support and realize the dreams of our personal customers, be the driving force behind the development of micro, small, and medium businesses, and the preferred partner to our corporate clients. We are committed to serving our communities and making a positive impact. By prioritizing financial inclusion, we ensure that everyone has access to the financial tools and resources they need to thrive. We are your partner in progress, serving you with excellence and professionalism and providing real-life solutions. Today and for generations to come, let's continue building the future together.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you've been waiting for. In this corner, we have the masters of limitless power and unbeatable connections, pioneers of 4G LTE in Belize. It's the undefeated champion, Smart. And in the other corner, struggling to keep up, it's the other guy. Fight! Tired of getting blow after blow from a plan with the other guys? It's time to tap out and join the winning postpaid plan provider. Smart's postpaid plans are a total knockout to the competition, and they have once again powered up their postpaid plans. Sign up for one of Smart's boosted postpaid power plans today and experience the victory of superior service. Smart, bringing people together.
Tired of replacing light bulbs? LEDs are what you need. LEDs last up to 30,000 hours. That's 30 times longer than incandescent bulbs, and up to 8 times longer than compact fluorescents. So less changing and less trash. Planet Earth thanks you. And the LED experts at Brothers Habet and Habet will help you find the best LED solution with colors for every room and mood, starting as low as $6.95. You can even get LED strips for home, office, and industrial use. So say goodbye to fluorescent tubes forever. And because they use up to 90% less energy, you save money. Money you can spend on other things. So head to Brothers Habet or Habet today. You can also call, email, or Facebook us. Have a brilliant day.
In Belize, we value our families, we value our communities, we value our neighbors. 90% of Belizeans think it's time for laws that protect all of us and reflect society at its best. 94% of Belizeans agree that public spaces in Belize should be more accessible to people living with disabilities. In Belize, we believe in fair treatment and supporting one another. We know that our beautiful country is at its best when we come together for the greater good. 2 out of 3 Belizeans support a new law to prevent discrimination in employment and public spaces. It shouldn't matter where we come from, who we love, or what we look like. Belizeans deserve to live our best lives. It's time for laws that protect all of us. Equal Opportunities Bill. Belize, we're ready.
Back with your news, I am Marisol Amaya. Expected as the primary witness for the Portico Senate inquiry, former government minister Erwin Contreras appeared this morning before the committee for its 8th hearing. As you may recall, Contreras was the one who signed the now infamous Portico Definitive Agreement, which his former colleagues subsequently said was unlawful. However, Contreras was not at the National Assembly of his own will this morning, as he had previously declined an invitation to attend. Reports are that police picked him up this morning at his Kamalota home on the strength of a court warrant. He made it before the senators just after midday and gave a personal statement before walking out, even as the committee chairperson, Senator Janelle Chanona, reminded him he was there on the strength of a warrant. He reported that since the matter is in court, he cannot discuss the case.
That you are to be here. Excuse me, sir, you are here under warrant. Mr. Contreras, you are here under warrant.
Second notice of government's acquisition of the 23.4-acre extension of Stake Bank Island was gazetted several days ago, despite the government giving the court an undertaking that this would not be done until the challenge of the acquisition is heard in court. That is set for December 19 and 20 this year. Our sources say government has explained it was not intentional and that Print Belize went ahead in printing the second notice without government's go-ahead. As such, the government last week filed an affidavit from the Minister of Natural Resources as well as from the Attorney General to reassure the court that the publication was unintentional and has been rescinded. In other news, Honourable Tracy Panton, along with delegates from different supporting electoral divisions, as well as aligned standard bearers this morning, took possession of the first floor of the United Democratic Party headquarters off Youth for the Future Drive in Belize City. Depending who you ask, it was done by force or they simply walked in. However, it appears leader of the opposition, Honourable Moses Shine Barrow, had the police called in and they secured the second floor, preventing the Panton executive from gaining entry. They did allow Panton's Alliance for Democracy grouping to remain on the first floor. We spoke with Ian Jones, Regional Zone Coordinator for the Belize District under the Barrow Executive, and also with Cecil Jenkins on the opposing end, who said there was no force.
I came here at 8 this morning. I opened up the headquarters as I have been doing for the past week or so, and I took a break and went outside and I saw like a mob was gathering. So I personally locked the grill bar doors. I'm the only person with the keys.
Tell me what you're holding in your hand.
This is the lock from the front door. You know, I keep on hearing them say that possession is 9/10 of the law, but they forcefully broke into the building. I did not open the door for them, and I came back and sat in here, and then I heard them with drills and stuff, and they took off the lock and started to proceed to change the other locks. No, so shortly after the police came, because then I guess the police were abreast of what was happening, no? And they started to proceed to break the locks from upstairs, and then the police stopped them from doing that. I mean, I'm a UDP supporter. When Dean Barr was leader, I supported the leader of the party. When Patrick Faber was leader, I supported. When John was leader, I supported John. And as of right now, the Honorable Shang Barr is the leader of the UDP, and it is quite disheartening and disappointing as a young supporter of the party who I grew up around the party, and these are people that I grew up around respecting and acknowledging and holding at the highest regard, but to see how they're acting now, the level of desperation to hold on to I don't even know if you even want to call it power.
How do you see this resolving, and do you intend to stay here all day as a form of guarding the building?
I'm not guarding the building. I'm killing time until my daughter comes out of school so I can pick her up. I'm not guarding the building. I'm not.
And when you try to come back in, you won't be able to?
I have no interaction with any of them, because what I have noticed, and it is like I said, it's very disheartening being a young supporter of the party, is that they immediately go to character. You know, they start to attack you. They start to get it out there. Mr. Sullivan, I say, listen to that idiot, they tell lie in there. I mean, there's nothing untruthful in what I'm saying. They have their versions of how they interpret things. I know what actually happened, and I can only speak on that truth, you know.
This morning I was here from 9:30 this morning to conduct business of the day. I came to the UDP headquarters because I normally do liquor license renewal for businesses, and I paid for some newspaper ad, which I have the evidence right here with the receipts that I was here this morning that I paid for the newspaper ads and the ads itself. However, while I was in this building conducting and getting my receipts, I heard the door were rattling, shaking, that they were trying to get in. However, I was at the back with Alfonso Noble, and we came forward. While we came to the front, I saw that Mr. Ian Jones was having discussion with someone who came to serve him an order, and Mr. Usher that is, huh? And upon then, I saw he was trying to lock the door and try to latch the door, but he never did lock the door. So I said, after I conducted my business, I said, how am I going to get out? However, when I went and I turned the door was quite open. He never did lock that door. And I opened the door and I let myself out. That is when Mr. Usher and the party leader came in and do what was necessary to be done.
Which she says gives them the authority to execute an eviction against Shine.
So what happened on the weekend, we had a Central Executive Committee meeting where we made some critical decisions. One is the appointment of the new Secretary General for the United Democratic Party. And we also sought the support of the trustee for this building to have occupation of the building and to use this building for the work of the United Democratic Party.
Okay, and this morning?
Philippa Bailey, former Secretary General for the United Democratic Party.
And this morning, what transpired?
We came over and we took occupation of the building.
How, forcefully?
No, we didn't. It was not forcefully. And the door was open for us. A server from the magistrate court was here to serve the relevant documents. And then the door was open and we walked in.
Okay, but you're unable to get upstairs. What's happening there?
I have been sitting here since I got here. I'm not upstairs. my colleagues, O.J. Elrington and Godwin Halek, are upstairs dealing with that matter.
Now, you say you've gotten the involvement from the legal system. What exactly, in terms of eviction, does that play any role?
As far as I am concerned, the trustee for the building has signed a letter authorizing us to have occupation of this building to conduct the business of the United Democratic Party. And as far as we are aware, as far as the server is aware, is concerned, that the strength of that letter is enough for us to take occupation of the building.
Must that be presented to the police for them to remove themselves from upstairs and allow you inside?
I have no idea why the police is involved at this point. I am waiting to hear from the commissioner. We have the authority to access the headquarters, to occupy the headquarters, and to use the headquarters for the work of the United Democratic Party.
The AFD supporters quickly got to changing out the locks on all the doors on the first floor and even changed out Barrow's photograph and replaced it with Pantons. There were some heated exchanges between some party supporters, including Brian Yellowman Ardenette and Barrow's driver Alan Kelly, but fortunately it did not go beyond hard talk. The situation had not yet unraveled by afternoon when Jones was allowed by police to go up to the second floor to try to open the door. Seeing this, Panton and a few others at her side got through to the steps, but police did not allow them any further. We spoke with Jones when he got back down and also with attorney Orson Elrington. They both stand on opposite sides of the divide.
Mr. Jones, can you share what's happening? What did you go
Nothing
and
happened
do?
actually. I got to check the lock. The lock is extremely damaged. You can't even enter the building if you want.
But you are going to enter under whose instructions?
Well, I am the regional zone coordinator for the UDP for Belize District, so it was under no instructions. I gone check the lock because I was told it was damaged. That's it.
Okay, you didn't get any instructions from the party leader? True that the commissioner of police had said you will not be allowed in?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything from the commissioner. I'm trying to talk to the officer in command who I've been dealing with since this morning, but there seems to be some issue here. So as soon as I get up to Mr. Reyes, I'll be sure to relate to you whatever information I get. But right now there seems to be a bit of a traffic jam. So as soon as I'm able to discuss with Mr. Reyes, who is the officer in command who I've been dealing with since this morning,
But they're now saying that this matter is going to go to court.
I can't speak to whosoever. I don't know. I can't say anything. I don't know. I'm waiting to go speak to Mr. Reyes. As soon as I get to speak to Mr. Reyes, we'll know what is the way forward.
But if that were to be the case, OJ, would it mean that you all would have to stand down until it is resolved in court?
Well, we are in occupation of the property right now, so I don't know what stand down means. What our position from since this morning has been that we are fully cooperating with the police, because not only we're in occupation of the property already, but our position is that we want the protection of the police officers. All right? So it's not only about, we are already in occupation of the property, but we want beyond a doubt. No, first.
Despite vowing just last week not to get involved in what he called the love triangle within the United Democratic Party, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams attended the weekly police press conference in Belize City, where he indicated that Leader of the Opposition, Moses Shine Barrow, filed a criminal complaint of alleged burglary over the matter. Here is how he explained it.
Be an end to it. I know Shine is currently filing a report of burglary at the police. That matter will be looked at by the police to see if there is any crime committed. We have to look at the whole issue of the definition of a burglary, which is one who enters a building as a trespasser or part of a building as a trespasser with the intent to do certain things, which also include causing damage to the building. If it is that we, through the investigation, will see that some crime has been committed by those persons, then the police will have to act based on that.
Who was it that made the initial report and called for police to come?
When we heard of the intent of the alliance to go and take over, we sent police there because we anticipated that it might, or it had the potential to cause a clash between the two groups. So in order to preserve law and order, we sent the police there.
Despite the commissioner indicating he personally would not visit the scene, Some reports this evening suggest he changed his mind at the invitation of the Alliance for Democracy. But how long can police hold the fort? Williams said it depends on when and whether the matter comes to a legal solution.
I will hope, Benjamin, that cooler heads would prevail and they would come to some consensus or some agreement to have this matter resolved, or the court would, through the application of some party, intervene and pronounce on the matter.
There's more news after the break. Stay with us.
In Belize, diversity is our strength. From the vibrant streets of Corozal to the serene beauty of Punta Gorda, and from the charming town of Benque
Welcome back. The news continues. 44-year-old Elvira Grant Mulholland, also known as Gina, a businesswoman originally of Santa Elena Town and now resident of the Sand Creek District, has been arrested and charged for the attempted murder of her husband on Friday. The report was made by Jeffrey Mulholland, and she has since been charged with attempted murder, use of deadly means of harm, grievous harm, and robbery. Reports indicate that the husband was shot with his own licensed firearm following a confrontation at their residence at Mile 12 along the coastal highway, and he was subsequently transported to the Carl Huebner Memorial Hospital for medical treatment. We hear more from ACP Gilberto Romero, officer commanding Eastern Division.
On the 5th day of October 2024, police responded to a shooting incident on the coastal road. On their arrival, they saw a vehicle in a ditch. They received information that one male person had been shot. Police made checks at the KHMH where they found Jeffrey Mulholland with a gunshot injury. He reported that while on the coastal road, he had a domestic dispute with his wife, Elvira Mulholland, who took his licensed 9mm pistol and fired a shot at him. An investigation was carried out. Elvira Mulholland has since been arrested and charged for the crimes of attempted murder, use of deadly means of harm, grievous harm, and robbery. She was taken to court.
Sources say that Gina Mulholland left the scene with a male suspect on a motorcycle. Police caught up with her and detained her, but say they are still looking for her, that is her alleged accomplice.
We're looking for that person. Thereafter, she was apprehended.
Where was she apprehended, sir?
Somewhere in the coastal road.
Who made the report to the was it the husband?
The husband, Jeffrey Mulholland.
Has there been any other reports of violence between the two?
Not that we know of, no.
Did she seize the gun from him, or had she brought it with her?
No, we have not located the weapon.
Sir, is there anything coming from the victim in terms of what could have escalated the situation to where he got shot?
They had a domestic dispute and it got confrontational, and she took the firearm and shot him.
In court, no bail was granted to Gina Mulholland, and she was remanded to the Belize Central Prison until December 30, 2024. In other news, last week, the Carl Huebner Memorial Hospital Authority Workers Union, KHMH AWU, vehemently rejected the government's introduction of an amendment to the relevant act to replace the staff union representative with a representative from the National Trade Union Congress of Belize. At a press conference today, Union President Andrew Baird said their right to have a say at the highest levels of the institution is being removed.
So in totality, what they are saying to us is that the voices of the workers of Carl Huebner Memorial Hospital does not matter to the board anymore. The principle on which we were allowed to the board by the said government, who amended the Act in 2021, for accountability, the mere principle for accountability and transparency, and for the workers of the institution to have a say in decision making that affects us within the institution, is now being eroded by the said government. We can only classify that having the union rep on the board has been working in the best interest of the institution and the staff, but not in the best interest of the politicians. Because if there was a representative that was hanky-panky and allowing everything to occur, they would not have amended the Act. They would not have amended the Act any at all. Nevertheless, this also can only be classified as a direct hit of union busting. Our union has made it clear that it is unacceptable. We will leave no stone unturned to let the government understand that Carl Huebner Workers Union will not give up. We will do what's necessary to ensure that our representative remains on the board. I believe by the government stating that they will now allow a member of the NTUCB to be on the board is a matter of trying to create animosity among the NTUCB and its affiliates. Government well know that the union, Carl Husham Memorial Hospital, is a member of the umbrella group, and by no means we will allow the government to inject such type of issues or animosity within our means.
Baird says he sent a message to the Prime Minister, and his response was that it is a conflict of interest to have the staff union represented on the board. Baird was combative on that response, pointing out that the conflict of interest is nepotism as a result of government appointments on the board. Baird says they are looking at their legal options. Present at the head table today was the NTUCB Senator, Honorable Glenfield Dennison.
The amendment that was brought in the House, in my respectful view, can only have one effect, and it is to remove your representation from the board. I say that because of two things. We can follow the government as it relates to saying there is a change of policy now and we want broader workers being represented. We can follow them down that road, and so we will shift it to the umbrella organization. I repeat categorically, we never asked for that. However, the wording of the amendment is so targeted that it leads me to believe that we are no longer legislating for a policy. We must be in the realm of legislating for personalities. And so I ask you to question yourself as to who this sort of amendment would benefit the most. It can't be you, because you will be removed from knowing what's happening at the highest decision making body of your employer, the KHMH authority. And so it really smacks of bad governance. And it allows me, it brings to my mind that I want to call this, I get in trouble when I say these things, but I want to call this the Alain or Andrew Amendment. And so congratulations, my brothers, because you have made it on the big stage. You are being legislated for, and that means that you are doing what is in the best interest of your workers, and the stage at which you are doing it is causing discomfort. And so the move then is a legislative one. Instead of fixing the issues and ensuring that the management, the board is working with the employees and their representative to try to sort out those issues. It's a big stick approach and saying, here we go, we tear on and bye.
Returning to political news, while the next stages of the United Democratic Party dispute may well end up in the courts, there are several issues to be considered. Commissioner of Police Chester Williams, who is a trained attorney, suggested during today's press conference that the Alliance for Democracy, AFD, may have gone about things the wrong way today by essentially forcibly entering the UDP headquarters on Youth for the Future drive. The AFD is relying on a power of attorney from former party Secretary General and trustee Philippa Griffith Bailey, as well as a document of land certificate establishing that the land was transferred in her name and held by her and other trustees in trust for the party, as well as her written authorization to Tracy Panton and those elected in the AFD Unity National Convention on October 20 to have use and enjoyment of the building. But is that by itself enough for the AFD to seize the headquarters? Williams explained that it is treated like the situation of a landlord and tenant.
I look at the situation from a legal standpoint. If you have a landlord and the landlord wishes to displace his tenant, the landlord cannot just bring a new tenant to the building and say to the current tenant, you need to leave. There is a legal process that you must follow. And the legal process cannot be circumvented by some other process. And it is sad to see that we have instances where people who are trained attorneys and should know better, that certain documents do not carry the force of law. And if it is that Philippa Bailey was the trustee of the property and she was holding on trust for the UDP, the question then lies as to who is the UDP.
Williams expressed the view that because there are equal and competing claims, the Panton faction should take the matter to court.
If the Panton faction believe that they have all rights to the building, then the proper thing for them to have done was to take the matter before the court, perhaps request Philippa Bailey, who is the trustee, to issue Shine with a notice to quit. Perhaps a month. If after the 1 month period expires, he do not quit, and notice to quit simply means notice to leave. That's a legal term. He do not leave within that time. Then they will then take that to the court and apply for an eviction order. If the court sees it fit, after having heard all the evidence, and then the court issue that eviction order, then the police can then act with them to forcefully evict him from the building. In the absence of that, then the police do not have the legal authority.
The commissioner said he has since spoken to leader of the opposition, Moses Shanbaro, advising him of his rights on the matter.
So I have since advised Shine that he can go before the court and seek the court's intervention to have the matter corrected. If the court were to find then that the actions of the alliance is wrong, and that of Philippa Bailey, who I saw a second document came out, a power of attorney. The power of attorney, as far as the law is concerned, has no effect for the simple fact that it is, she can only transfer or assign the power that is given to her as a trustee, and nothing more than that. And the power as a trustee is for her to hold the property on trust for the UDP. So she cannot act outside of that, or she cannot transfer more power than what she has. So then, again, the power of attorney will still not fully address the issue as to who that the UDP, right? That has to be addressed. And I think that only the court could address that issue.
After the break, police woman arrested over spate of Belmopan robberies. Stay tuned. several individuals on Friday, October 25, following an investigation into a series of robberies that occurred in western Belize between June and October 2024. One of those charged is a police officer, Eva Dawson, along with 47-year-old Jonathan David Cruz, 18-year-old Elijah Jonathan Cruz, 25-year-old Robert Andrew Tillett. Dawson faces 7 counts of conspiracy to commit robbery for each of the separate incidents reported in Belmopan between June 5 and October 18. Jonathan Cruz was charged with 4 separate counts of robbery and 7 counts of conspiracy to commit robbery, jointly with Dawson. Robert Tillett faces 3 counts of robbery, while Elijah Jonathan Cruz was charged with 1 count to commit, that is, of conspiracy to commit robbery. ACP Gilberto Romero, officer commanding Eastern Division, indicated police uniforms were used by the robbers in at least 1 of the 7 reported incidents.
Based on several robbery reports that were made over a period from June 2024 to present, police have since arrested and charged Jonathan Cruz, 47 years, for the crime of robbery. And Jonathan Cruz, along with Eva Dawson, a police officer, have jointly been charged for 7 counts of conspiracy to commit a robbery.
So we understand that the last of those robberies, the one that took place on Wednesday, 23rd October, that at least one of the robbers had on a police uniform. Is that a concern for you all, and are you looking into that element of the crime?
Yes, that is a concern. Several searches were conducted, items were recovered, and that is what led to the charges being levied at this time.
Home residence?
At the residence of Jonathan Cruz and Eva Dawson.
All 4 have since appeared in court. And in one last political story, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams is walking a tightrope as it relates to his management of the standoff situation at Youth for the Future Drive, being careful not to offend Leader of the Opposition United Democratic Party, Moses Shine Barrow, while also being careful not to dismiss the claims of his rival Tracy Panton, the leader of the Alliance for Democracy. This afternoon, the Commissioner discussed how police initially responded to the situation.
As far as the law is concerned, I'm not going to say me. The police are creatures of law, and I have said from day one that the police will not going to be used as a pawn by other sides as it relates to the ongoing entanglement. But we must be fair. I have also said that the police are only going to get involved if there is a threat to damage of property or there's a threat to life. The taking over, or the attempt taking over this morning, obviously was being carried out in such a way that damage would have to be caused to the property. I believe I saw video footages where a number of lots were damaged in order for them to have gained entry into the first floor of the building. My instructions to the police from, I was brief of the matter, was for them to hold their ground with police so as not to allow the Panton fraction from taking over the building.
Williams said the department must maintain neutrality despite the personalities involved, adding that police must also weigh regular crime-fighting issues.
We will just hold forth and be as neutral as we can. One might not like Shine, but the truth is he is the constitutionally elected leader of the opposition. As you know, when there is House meeting, he is the one who holds that position. And so we will not take sides for either sides, but try and remain as neutral as we can. We are not going to use no force on nobody. I would hope that the matter can be taken before the court, and for the court to look at the matter and make a determination so we know where to go from there. We cannot have this matter prolonged too much because the police have things to do. And for us to be tied up in a love triangle, it's not what we want to do, no.
As for what is the UDP, the Commissioner clarified that while a political party, it does not have a legal personality, although it is governed by the party constitution.
The UDP is governed by a constitution, and the UDP constitution speaks to how the entire assets of the party is supposed to be managed. And it says that it is managed by a group of trustees. I don't know if at this time they only have one trustee, because I think the constitution speaks to 3 trustees. I don't know if they have 3 at this time or they have 1, because I think that by virtue of the constitution, I think 1 serves for 4 years, 1 I think for 7 years, and I think 1 for 9, something to that effect. So there is a period where they could only have 1. So I don't know if at this juncture, Philip Abel is the sole trustee, or if the other 2 trustees are still in force. At this particular moment, I don't know. But if it is that there are more than 1 trustees, then she would not be in a position unilaterally to just assign the powers of the trustees to any other person.
And police are investigating a shooting incident in Lordsbank Village, Belize District on Saturday night that sent 2 men to the hospital. On the Lordsbank main road in front of the Belize Water Services compound, police observed a grey Nissan Versa on the left-hand side of the road when traveling from its junction with the Philip Golson Highway. 2 men were inside, identified as Jaden Young of Bermudian Landing Village and 27-year-old Cyril Banner, a Coast Guard of Lemanal Village, both suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. Both persons were rushed to the KHMH. Banner was reported as stable and has since been released, while Young is in a critical condition, though improving. Initial investigation reveals that both victims were traveling to Lordsbank Village, and on reaching in front of the BWS compound, an SUV-type vehicle pulled up from behind and drove near the driver's side, where a person or persons from within the other vehicle fired several gunshots into the Nissan Versa, causing injuries to both persons. Today, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams said it was part of the ongoing dispute between rivals in the villages of the Belize River Valley, which stretches from Boom to Rancho Dolores villages. This is the second incident related to that dispute to have taken place outside the River Valley.
So far, one of the individuals has been released from the hospital, while the other one is still admitted in a critical condition, but somehow we believe that his prognosis is improving. Police have since launched an investigation into that matter, and just a few hours ago, police were able to locate the vehicle that we believe was used by the shooters in that matter, and so that is currently being processed. From what we are seeing is that this is a result of the ongoing feud between the 2 rivaling groups in the River Valley area. We know that earlier in the year we saw an increase in shootings in the Belize River Valley area, and then we recently saw that Miss Flowers was also shot on Sarsoon Street here in Belize City, and we also believe that her shooting was also a result of those feuds in that area. I have since instructed the operations team under the command of ACP Greenwich to make sure that we go after all those persons concerned. We have done a lot in terms of mediation, meetings, even with the various village councils, trying to find a lasting resolution to the issue. But somehow it seems like those young men who are a part of this beef do not want to give up and they seems determined to go at each other. And so we will intensify our operational efforts at them. And believe you me, they will come to you all, the media, and they are going to complain. I trust and hope that when the complaints come to you, that you do not entertain them, because there comes a time when we have to stop talk and people have to begin to feel.
The commissioner also blamed social media for escalating the feud. He said that while a meeting is planned with villagers in Lemanal this week, the police must clamp down. As for what is causing the feud, the commissioner told us that among the issues is sporting rivalry on the cricket field, the River Valley being the home of cricket in Belize, but some believe it has gone beyond that. Police have detained the village chairman of Lemanal as a possible suspect in the ongoing investigation. Also, the police complement in the villages of Burl Boom and Bermudian Landing has been upgraded with additional support from Belmopan and Ladyville, but as the commissioner noted, it will be more difficult to monitor them for illicit activity outside the area.
I must say that the police have done a lot in the River Valley area over the past few months. We have upped the number of police officers in the Bermuda Landing and the Burl Boom villages. We have teams coming from Belmopan and from SPU and MIT that goes into the area and conduct patrol. The Ladyville formation send QRTs to the area as well. So there's a lot that we are doing in the River Valley to be able to suppress these people from carrying out their acts. And so because of the efforts that we have put in the River Valley area, it makes it difficult for them to be able to carry out these activities in the River Valley area. So we're seeing now that they are now committing these acts outside of the River Valley area. So what we need to do now is to monitor them when they leave the area to see what happens. It is going to be difficult, and that's the reason why I'm saying that we are going to take more drastic measures in terms of making sure that we don't give them that opportunity. So if we have to put checkpoints and when they're leaving River Valley, we have to search them, detain them, whatever it may be, to ensure that they don't do what they want to do, then we're going to do that. And they can go and they can complain here. The only way I'm going to stop, that God come and tell me, Chester, please leave them alone. They are now changed. But they have to get the message.
And with that, we have come to the end of our newscast. A repeat can be viewed on this station later tonight at 9 and again tomorrow at midday. Join me again tomorrow for another news broadcast. I am Marisol Amaya. Have a safe and enjoyable evening.